Welcome to Game Changers, the future of play, where we explore AI, gaming, and the business of play. I'm Toni Callahan, and I'm here with the podcast team, Diego Ventura, Sarah Ramos, and Stephanie Ventura. Today we have a super special guest, Nancy MacIntyre. She's the former CEO of WorldWinner, the CEO and founder of Fingerprint, and the VP of Marketing and Sales for brands like LeapFrog, LucasArts, and more. Today we're going to hear Nancy's insights on digital media at the intersection of gaming and share actionable lessons for executives, studio leaders, and developers. Nancy, thank you so much for your time. Would love to start with just a quick snapshot, a little bit of background about yourself, your career, how you got into gaming.
Great. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I always like to talk about gaming and the intersection of gaming and tech. I have been working in gaming and tech almost since leaving Wall Street right after college. I started my career working at Lotus Development and was focused on marketing and distribution. And along the way, was focused on getting Lotus products to places like CompUSA and Electronics Boutique and Walmart, and discovered video games and was so excited about that consumer segment that I moved over into gaming with Broderbund Software, which many might remember had Where in the World Was Carmen Sandiego and Myst and that kind of thing, and was able to launch my career in gaming from that and ended up running sales and marketing at Hasbro Interactive, and then ultimately at Lucasfilm, where I worked on things like Battlefront and Lego Star Wars, and then spent a number of years working in the kids gaming space, first at LeapFrog Enterprises in education. And then I started my own company, Fingerprint, which was really sort of Netflix for kids gaming, and ran that for 10 years and sold it. And for the last 4 years, until just recently, I was the CEO of WorldWinner, which is the premier real money gaming, skill gaming company.
Is quite the
Sorry,
career.
Toni, can I jump in and
Absolutely.
distract a
Yes.
little?
Yes.
No, guys, it's because Nancy, I'm so curious about, okay, Lucasfilm. I'm a big Star Wars fan. So tell me, what was the environment there? Like, would you like walk around the corridors and here comes Chewbacca, or some other characters? I mean, was it things like that, or what was the environment?
Well, first of all, Lucasfilm is one of the most creative places on earth. So no matter who you were in whatever role, you were probably a creative at heart. And so it was just a fantastic environment to be in with so many creative people. People always ask about what it was like. Did you spend time with George Lucas? And I always tell the same story, which is I had an office where right outside of my office was the life-size figure of Admiral Akbar that had been used in the movie and in TV commercials. And one day I looked up from my desk and I see this person standing there, and I realized it's George Lucas. And then I see the person next to him is Steven Spielberg, and the person standing next to him is Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings fame. And I was having like the holy cow moment there. And they just sort of walked into my office and were admiring some things that I had on the wall, which were basically the, marketing items for various games that we were doing and that sort of thing. And that was sort of a thrill.
Yeah, I can just imagine. No, thank you. Sorry, Toni. Sorry for the disruption. But I was
But in other news, something that is maybe even funnier is that my husband was called to jury duty, and seated right next to him in jury duty in Marin County was George Lucas. And it happened to be on a May the 4th, which is, of course, Star Wars Day. And so that was like quite a big thing. So that's like that's like lore in my house and with all the people I know.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What are the odds? That's very unique.
Yes.
Really cool.
Totally.
Well, Nancy, we're so excited to talk with you a little bit more about, kind of the business side of play and monetization, engagement, player psychology in these casual games. And kind of in that realm, I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, what's like a key trend that's really impacting your area right now as you see it?
I see my area as sort of the greater gaming area. While I've spent the last 4 years working in real money gaming, I really care about the business of gaming as a whole. It's interesting because, I think over the past maybe 10 years, the biggest challenge for gaming has really been customer acquisition and retention. As the rules change for acquiring users, it becomes harder and harder to get them at an efficient price. And the model is constantly changing. So finding a model that works for you, whether you're using social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or even doing TV ads or whatever, the market is constantly evolving because with real money gaming, there is so many places where consumers can spend their money, whether it's on sweepstakes or lotto or sports book or prediction gaming or iCasino or skill gaming. They're all essentially the same types of experiences going to the same types of customers. So, the biggest challenge is acquiring customers that you believe will be valuable and then being able to monetize them. And that problem exists in all gaming, but it's particularly true in real money gaming.
Yeah, we've been hearing that quite a bit, the user acquisition challenge. And in your experience, how did you find the best way to approach that challenge, or did you have a way that you thought was the best?
Yeah. Uh, I don't think there's any silver bullet. When I started in video games, it was fairly straightforward. You worried about making sure that your retail presence was correct and then that your marketing messaging was right, and you made a killer TV commercial or online ad or whatever, but it was fairly predictable. If you had a great game, it was very predictable. If you did the right marketing campaign, you were going to get to the audience. But today it's slightly different because you have to get the person to download your product, then you have to get them through your onboarding flow. You have to make the initial product experience compelling enough that they want to continue playing, and ultimately will spend in the game. In some ways, it's mobile gaming is more like a TV model where you make a pilot, you show it to consumers, you get the feedback on the actors, the plot lines, and then you evolve it before you launch a full season. And gaming is really the perfect mix of art and science, where you need a compelling play pattern, you have to have players like the game, and then it has to have the monetization hooks that really help you monetize the game. And unlike other types of applications where if you just build a big audience, eventually you can get to monetization, because games is entertainment and content, you can't just change the monetization model after people are already playing it because they just don't like it. And you're in the AI business, and what I see is that one of the most exciting things about AI ultimately will be using AI and machine learning to deliver a really personalized experience to the player that is really customized for them, which will make them feel like the product is just for them.
I love that idea. Definitely being able to do that at scale would be huge to make it, millions of players feel like something is tailored uniquely to them. That sounds very exciting. One more question from me. Can you share one, lesson that you would give to, studios or executives, just in any about anything, if you had to pick just one lesson?
I really think it all starts with data. It used to be that a good hunch or idea was enough. I mean, it's true that Steve Jobs said that customers don't really know what they want, so you should give them what you think is right. I'm paraphrasing here, but in today we have so much data about what customers really want. We see it in their play behavior as well as how they respond to research. And I think it's absolutely essential that we let data drive decisions in terms of product development, marketing, et cetera, which is very hard for people that are like me, that are intuitive product and marketing people. But, ultimately the data has to drive everything. And I think we're going to continue to see that being more and more critical, even in the entertainment space.
Nancy, I would say that if data and AI are so important, and obviously, I'm biased, but I completely agree with you. I mean, I can see studios of a certain size being able to afford to have the people in-house that can do these kind of things. But what do you think are the options for smaller studios? Like, what can they do in terms of, having that same kind of capabilities, but without having the budgets necessarily the resources to have them in-house.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is that pretty much everybody has AI capabilities at their hands right now. Anybody that's got a high school student in their house knows that ChatGPT drives everything now, right? But
Yep.
between ChatGPT and Dolly and Midjourney and the wide variety of creation tools that are out there, whether you want to create characters or you want to write copy or you want to make a song or a short animated video, I mean, for a very small subscription price, or in many cases free, studios can be iterating really quickly on their ideas and getting content that they can put in front of consumers or for research purposes. So I think there's never been a better time from a tool perspective, for small studios to be able to access AI tools and help them propel their business along. So, even from basic concept testing, logo testing, prototyping, et cetera, there's never been a better time for access to sort of low price tools.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
And I mean, it's not just from a creation perspective. I think, there's so many tools available on the AI side today that relate to customer service, relate to marketing, relate to all the business tools, et cetera, that, I think we're going to see businesses begin to adopt a range of different tools faster and faster that make their business work better.
Yeah, I keep hearing in the industry that, especially in the gaming industry where, the artists that develop the games don't really want to worry too much about the logistic part of the
Mhm.
business, support,
Right.
engagement, etc. So, yeah, that sounds really true to me also.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So now we're going to jump right into some rapid fire questions, and this is designed to be quick and to get your take on some of these topics, Nancy. So the first rapid fire question that I have for you is, what's your favorite video game or gaming memory?
Well, I worked on the game Roller Coaster Tycoon, which at this point has, sold many tens of millions of units. But we brought that game into Hasbro Interactive when I was running sales and marketing, and generally speaking, we thought that it was a niche product. Uh, we thought that there was only going to be a small number of people that wanted to play it. And the initial forecast was 55,000 units. And that year we sold over 5 million. So it just goes to show you that you never really know what is going to catch fire. And I just love that the devs and the creative people were right. And it helped that we made an amazing TV commercial and we marketed it really well. But ultimately, the game was just amazing and people loved it.
So thanks for sharing that with us.
Sure.
So the second question is, one tool or technology that you can't live without?
Oh, my Apple Watch. You know, once you put that on your wrist and you begin to quantify everything, it's really incredibly addictive. And I've I've had one since it first came out, and I just love it.
That's great. That goes right along with your answer about data being super important. So I can see
Yes.
that being a favorite for you.
Although
Next
I don't always like to know how long I have slept or not slept.
It'd be a little frustrating
Yeah.
sometimes. All right. Next one is biggest trend in gaming or AI that excites you.
You know, I still think that AI for delivering personalized experiences is really the key to everything. And it's not just in gaming, it's really across the board that, the combination of AI with machine learning to analyze user data, whether it's their behavior, their history, their preferences, that allow you to deliver like really customized and tailor content, product recommendations, interactions, offers, and provide user journeys that are really custom to the player. I think it's already in use, but I think we've only seen the very beginnings of what that could be. Because back to your question about what does this mean to smaller studios or smaller businesses, I believe that ultimately there will be the tools to let you micro segment your audiences and really be able to deliver incredibly compelling experiences across any category. And as a marketer at heart, that gets me really excited. And I think you're going to see that on the product side as well.
That's great. I love that. I remember playing Zelda back in the day when I was really young, and I always wanted the characters to interact with me and not just give me a canned answer. So looking forward to that, actually.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, you just think about everything from how you shop. If you go to if you go to Spotify or you go to Sephora or you go to the Gap, if those stores know a lot about you and they know how you're thinking and they know the kinds of things that you like, suddenly everything gets better.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very true.
absolutely. Okay, next question. One piece of advice for studio leaders or executives.
Um, this is actually just a total cliche, but it all comes down to hiring the best people and letting them do their thing. Hiring great people and then trusting them to do their jobs and giving them the latitude to make strategies, create plans, and execute them the way that they think they should be executed is really key.
Love that. Okay, and then last question from me. If you weren't in gaming, what would you be doing?
Well, I I think I would want to be a celebrity chef, because
Oh,
I mean I love cooking for lots of people and throwing big parties, and I think being a celebrity chef would be amazing. Um, or a novelist, of course.
wow,
That's great.
very
I
nice.
love it. Thank
Both
you.
of
Thank you,
those
Nancy.
sound
Sure.
Both of those sound very fun. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for your insights, from creating successful global products to building value in gaming and entertainment. All of your experience in gaming leadership is so invaluable for anyone in the ecosystem. So thank you for your time and for taking a few minutes to talk with us today. We really appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Good luck with
Yeah.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this episode, you can find Game Changers, The Future of Play on Spotify or on our website, securaqs.ai, or you can take a look at those details in the caption. Thank you so much, Nancy, and thank you so much to the podcast team, and we will see you all next time.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, guys. All right.